A very good evening to you. Welcome to the broadcast. In our top stories tonight.
Tonight on NTV, another parade of those deemed high and mighty in handcuffs.
Shall be released upon executing a board of Kenya shillings 6 million.
National Lands Commission Chairperson Mohamed Swezuri, Kenya Railways Managing Director Tanas Maina and their co-accused released on bail.
Also tonight, it began 5 months ago.
When we were dating, was just a kind person, a good person.
Then it went south, beating after beating.
He stepped me down with his feet. He beat me with his shoes. He poured water into me. 5 beatings and a visibly battered wife. But Naftali Luzeli, the man accused of assaulting his wife, has denied the charges.
Also on the bulletin, are you going out tonight? Gentlemen, if you are in Murang'a, be wary of your chosen company.
Kweli mimi nilisikia nimelala na si kutoka hapo sikujisikia tena.
That pretty lady could be your downfall.
Na akaniomba kama naweza niko na gari naweza mdrop.
Revelers' drinks are being spiked with drugs popularly known as mchele.
For the fisherman to make his profits, he needs nets. On tonight's My Job, we bring to you the story of how Joseph Onyango makes his nets profits.
NTV Tonight with Trevor Ombija and Zeynab Ismail.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Helping us with sign language interpretation tonight is Flora Atieno. Now let's start with corruption matters, where the National Lands Commission Chairperson Mohamed Swezuri, Kenya Railways Managing Director Tanas Maina and 12 others were freed on bail after they pleaded not guilty to all the corruption charges leveled against them by the prosecution in a packed courtroom.
NTV's Seth Olale followed the proceedings at the Milimani Low Courts and filed this report.
NLC boss Mohamed Swezuri, Tanas Maina, the Kenya Railways Managing Corporation Director, 12 other suspects and 3 entities were jointly charged with conspiracy to commit a crime of corruption through irregular compensation for public land the government controversially acquired to build the standard gauge railway. The transaction resulted in the loss of over 221 million shillings taxpayers' money.
Within Nairobi County, being the chairman of the state.
Also in the dock were NLC Valuation and Taxation Director Salome Munubi, the Commission CEO Tom Aziz Chavangi, Francis Mugo, Victor Karioki, Elijah Nyamu, John Mwaniki, Caroline Kitui, Peter Mburu, Gladys Mwikali, Obadia Mbugua, David Some and Esther Some. 3 companies, namely Dasehe Investment Limited, Kebuko Investment Limited, and Olomotit Estate Limited were also listed alongside the accused persons. The suspects separately faced other charges, namely abuse of office, unlawful acquisition of public property, neglect of official duty, and unlawful disposal of public property, but all denied committing the offences.
The National Lands Commission office at Abbey House.
The lead prosecutor, Lilian Obuo, an assistant director of public prosecution, asked the court to deny the accused bond, terming the charges as grave offences which should be treated as crimes against humanity. However, the defense, led by senior counsel Tom Ojenda, pleaded with court to have the accused released on bond, saying the criminal charges relate to a civil matter.
Apply for bail on behalf of the accused person as ordained by Article 49(1)(h) of the Constitution and Section 123(1) and 2 of the Criminal Procedure Code. Bail is a constitutional right, Your Honor, and this has clearly been set out in the case of Rogers Nzioka and 11 others versus Republic. I have supplied my learned friends with copies.
The court then adjourned for 2.5 hours, and when it resumed, the chief magistrate made his ruling on the bail application.
They shall be released upon executing a board of Kenya shillings 6 million plus a shred or like amount or in the alternative, each shall deposit a cash bill of Kenya shillings 3,500,000, that is 3.5 million.
The suspects were ordered to be remanded until such a time the cash bail or surety is presented in court. They were also instructed not to visit the NLC or Ministry of Land offices without police escort. Cash bail ruling by the Anti-Corruption Court is a setback for the prosecutor, who had hoped to detain the accused father for interrogation. Now, the Office of Director of Public Prosecution must have a watertight evidence during the rest of the case hearing, whose next phase will be during the pre-trial on the 29th August. Seth Olale, NTV, Milimani Law Courts.
Now, 9 former Nairobi County officials were remanded at the Industrial Area Prison as they await the Anti-Corruption Court's decision on whether to release them on bond terms after they were charged with allegedly defrauding the county over 200 million shillings.
The accused, Lilian Wanjiru, Jimmy Kiamba, Gregory Mwakanongo, Stephen Osiro, Luke Gatimu, John Jogu and Grace Gidhua were remanded after trial magistrate Lawrence Mugambi said he needed more time to consider the application for bail.
On bail on grounds that they disobeyed an order requiring them to appear in court on the 9th of August 2018, and a warrant of arrest was issued by the Anti-Corruption Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti. The accused, through lawyers Ochieng Odwol and Cliff Ombeta, told the court that their clients were not served with the order to appear in court.
Well, they said that the accused presented themselves to court after they were informed of the criminal charges against them. Last week, former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero was arrested on suspicion of a conspiracy to commit an offense of corruption leading to the loss of 213 million shillings. He is out on a cash bail of 2 million shillings. The former governor was charged alongside head of Treasury Maurice Okere. Kidero's co-accused, who were senior officials in his administration, faced 31 additional charges ranging from abuse of office, fraudulent acquisition of public land as well.
At the Nairobi City Council government offices in the Republic of Kenya, being the AG, Chief Officer Finance, and AG, Head of
9601, held at the City Hall branch of the Tariff.
Now, the demolition exercise at the Oswald Center in Westlands, Nairobi, that started on Saturday is yet to be completed. The center, through its management, has hired agents to collaborate with the multi-agency team tasked with the demolitions to ensure the exercise runs smoothly.
Well, the demolitions entered the second week with the National Environment Management Authority, that's NEMA, through its communication manager, Evans Nyabuto, affirming that they will carry on. NEMA will, however, not disclose the buildings targeted in the next round of demolitions, or even whether there will be a next round at all, citing security reasons.
Last week, buildings on riparian land worth millions of shillings were brought down. The buildings included a Java branch, a Shell petrol station in Keleleshwa, the controversial South End Mall on Langata Road, Nakumatt, UK, and part of the Oswald Center being the latest.
With a bit of challenges which we are trying to overcome. As you see, the slab is quite heavy, and we are very careful in breaking the slab because we don't want the debris to go into the river. Whatever debris is going into the river, we are trying to excavate it for the river to flow properly.
And away from that, a Nairobi businessman says he has been swindled of goods worth 320 million shillings. Businessman Stephen Musyoka was approached by people who claimed that they had an order to supply the Treasury and the Deputy President's office with 2,800 computers.
The businessman was then given a fake local purchase order, or LPO, which he relied on to import the consignment. However, when his stock of computers got into the country, individuals who claimed to be from the Deputy President's office collected the consignment using cars with fake stickers, allegedly from the DP's office, and made off with it.
Well, the businessman then approached officials from the Deputy President's office who helped him trace the suspects behind the con game. 7 of them were arrested this evening in an apartment along Kuna Road, that's in Westlands, and cars bearing fake stickers that indicated that they were from the Deputy President's office also impounded.
700 computers were also found alongside fake Kenya Revenue Authority stickers and port stamps. The businessman wants the government to hasten the investigation to ensure it does not suffer losses as he had taken loans to procure the goods.
Well, the mastermind is believed to be a lady known as Joy Wangare, and 7 employees are now in police custody for questioning.
So our effort for investigation have been delayed since we reported this matter on Thursday, and now is on Monday, and we did the investigation and we came and to get these goods in this office. So I urge the government to help where it can, because I've been robbed 320 million by this guy, one of this house, because we have.
When this business started, it was purported to be from the office of the Deputy President. In fact, some of the goods were delivered, or purportedly delivered at Treasury.
Now, Naftali Luzeli, the man who allegedly beat up his wife over the weekend, has denied assault charges and was released on a bond of 300,000 Kenyan shillings.
NTV's Lois Wangoi with the details on that story.
At the Eldoret Law Courts, Naftali Luzeli stood to face charges of assault. His wife accused him of beating her and occasioning severe body injuries. Luzeli denied the charges. Eldoret Chief Magistrate Charles Obulutsa released the suspect on a 300,000 shillings bond. The matter will be heard on the 20th of this month. Luzeli came to the limelight after disturbing images of his wife Valerie Masibo's almost deformed face were shared on social media, raising questions about who she was and why she had endured what was visibly a terrible ordeal. In person, she looks frail, scared and in pain. She recalls the events of Friday evening.
And he started being brutal at 6:30. He beat me up with a cooking stick to the mwiko, and he stepped me down with his feet. He beat me with his shoes. He poured water into me, cold water. I could not even look at him because I didn't believe that is the man I loved.
Valerie says her husband beat her for 2 hours. Neighbors were too scared to intervene. They called the police, who came to her rescue.
The first time he started being brutal to me, and he apologized, and I decided to give him the second chance. The second time again he repeated himself. The third time he did it the same thing again unto me. Fourth time, so this one was so brutal.
Valerie is an orphan, the second in a family of 2 children. She had been enrolled in college to study catering. She never did. She eloped with her lover turned tormentor. She is currently recuperating at her auntie's home. Doctors say she sustained tissue injuries. Her eyes are undergoing further tests to ascertain the extent of the damage. She has been indoors since the assault and has had time to reflect.
When we were dating, was just a kind person, a good person, open-minded, but come to think of it, I didn't know him from inside, but from outside was so nice to me. So I think he was just pretending. You know, when you want to love someone, maybe you want to give them a chance in your life.
Valerie says she wishes she knew better. She met her husband in February, dated for weeks and got married after 5 months. Lois Wangoi, NTV, Eldoret.
So that unfortunate incident sets a question of the day, and we would like to hear your opinion on the rising cases of domestic violence. And the question is, what can be done to stop domestic violence?
You can text us on 20686, include your name and where you're watching us from, or tweet at NTV Kenya at Trevor Ombija, as well as Zeynab Ismail. We'll be able to sample some of your views. That question again, Trevor.
The question is, what can be done to stop domestic violence? We'd like to hear from you. Tweet us at NTV Kenya, Trevor Ombija. We'll sample some of your views during and at the end of this broadcast. Let's talk about something different here, where chaos marred the first day of the Kenya primary schools Head Teachers Association annual meeting in Mombasa after a section of teachers there demanded to know how their monthly contributions to the union were being used.
Now, the more than 10,000 teachers threatened to pass a vote of no confidence in the chairman, Shem Ndolo, whom they also accused of opposing a teacher strike planned by the union from 1st September. NTV's Sharon Baranga reports.
What is your problem? What is your problem?
For close to 2 hours, head teachers from primary schools who are gathered in Mombasa for their annual meeting heckled and threatened to pass a vote of no confidence in Shem Ndolo, the chairman of the Kenya Primary School Head Teachers Association, and swear in his deputy, Nicholas Gathemia. Trouble started when a section of teachers opposed the 500 shillings they contribute monthly towards their union, saying the union leaders had failed to explain how the money is spent. The money was raised from 100 to 500 shillings last year.
I believe we must be donors by ourselves, and that's the way to go. We cannot relax, because after all, we came out to deduct 500 shillings from them when I had worked hard with the TSC for CBA. If they give us only 500, what is wrong? Must we run an office without money? Must we look for supporters, donors, partners when we are able? Are we earning stones or money?
Ndolo blamed the chaos on his deputy.
My deputy, who is the chairperson of the session, went to the dais and provoked the members by asking them to adopt my speech. I think it was a planned thing, which I believe I had in mind, because certain people said Kepsa cannot be an island enjoying peace, yet KN2 people riot. Kepsa, the last time they were here, there was riot, so they said they had to cause chaos, and indeed you have seen it.
The head teachers also accused Ndolo of opposing a teacher's strike expected to start at the beginning of third term on the 1st of September. The more than 10,000 teachers seemingly keen on handing the chairmanship to Ndolo's deputy, Nicholas Gathemia, to take over as chair of KEPSHA. The move irked Ndolo.
We don't want nonsense. If you have something to say, you can say it. We know there's nothing I don't know. There is nothing I don't know about you. The poison that you have, I know. There is no problem. There is no problem. Nobody heckled me in my talk. You cannot behave like that. There is no way. There is no way, I'm telling you for free. It doesn't matter.
The head teachers were also opposed to delocalization of school heads, an exercise that is being conducted by the Teachers Service Commission. They want TSC to put into consideration the age of teachers, as some of them are almost retiring. The annual meeting brings together school heads to discuss matters affecting them and to share ideas on school management. Tomorrow, President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to officially open the conference. Sharon Baranga, NTV.
Likuyani member of Parliament Enoch Kibunguchi, whose driver Douglas Wakachi was shot last night at Soy Trading Center in Kakamega County, blames his political opponents for the killing.
NTV's Gabriel Kudaka reports that Kibunguchi claims the killer bullets were meant for him, adding that his life is now in danger.
We caught up with Likuyani MP Enoch Kibunguchi this morning at Soy Highway Motel, the very scene where his driver's life was cut short last night by bullets from a gangster's gun. And today he was back again to mourn with the family of the bereaved and perhaps to retrace the moments that led to his driver's death. He narrowly survived the ordeal.
Mimi nina hakika yale mambo yalifanyika jana, hiyo risasi yenye limuua dereva wangu, nina hakika kwa roho yangu kwamba hiyo risasi ilikuwa iniue mimi.
After shooting the driver who was in the car, waiting for his boss to clear the bill, the attacker proceeded to the motel where the MP was to accomplish his mission. But that would not happen thanks to quick response by the hotel manager, who switched off the lights, causing confusion.
and he said, everybody down. But then I stood up and ducked behind the door. And he tried to follow me. I think that is how Kibunguki was spared, because he didn't know where he was sitting. So I escaped and put up the lights, and that's what confused those goons.
Ndio tukarudi watu wawili kwa chini ya mesa, ndio tukachukue tukafiche mahali.
The attackers are then said to have panicked and fled using one of the MP's cars, which they later abandoned at the nearby Nangili Trading Center. Wakachi's widow says the incident has robbed the family of its sole breadwinner.
Kwa familia kubwa, yani tumetegemea tu ni yeye. Hakuna mwingine.
Police are searching for the killers. Gabriel Kudaka, NTV.
And away from that, hundreds of Muslims are stuck at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport following increased demand for flights to Mecca for the annual Hajj pilgrimage. Thousands of Muslims from around the world are converging on Mecca in Saudi Arabia for what has been described as a religious duty, and for some pilgrims, the journey of a lifetime.
3 million Muslims are expected to gather at the Kaaba, Islam's holiest site, during the Hajj in 2018. The team from Kenya were supposed to leave yesterday but have been stranded. And of course, joining us on phone is Luqman Masood. Thanks for speaking to us, Luqman. And if you can hear us, what is the situation like there right now?
Right now we do thank the Saudi Airlines. They have given us the coupons, and we just already checked in at the Hilton Hotel here in Nairobi. Expecting to be back to the airport tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the morning. But we spent nearly 24 hours at the airport. So luckily, we are expecting to fly tomorrow.
Luqman, was there any sort of explanation as to what happened by the officials there?
So far till now, we did not got any explanation from any official. It's only say there's a technical problem from Jeddah, but the communication from Jeddah to Nairobi office by Saudi people, I think it's weak.
All right, Luqman, before we let you go, what kind of impact will the delay have on the pilgrims?
The impact is also huge, because there was some women and some elderly pilgrims. So we just being patient, because the first thing for the religion to be patient for, especially for the pilgrim. We just be patient, and this will be okay. We're expecting that.
Luqman, are you still going to make the trip now that 2 days is already gone?
The trip is going to be tomorrow, 5 o'clock. That's what they promise us.
All right,
so
thanks.
We're not sure if that 5 o'clock will be 100% or still we're going to spend another day tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Luqman. That's Luqman Masood speaking to us. There's been a conversation about hundreds of Muslims who are stuck at the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. They wanted to make that trip to Saudi Arabia, what has been described as the journey of a lifetime, but then are now going to try and do it again tomorrow. We'll try and catch up with them and find out the latest from that area. There's been no explanation, but at least they've been given a place to rest for the night. We're taking a short break on NTV Tonight, but we had a question earlier on concerning domestic violence, and the question is, what can be done to stop domestic violence? Zeynab, you have the Twitter handle?
Definitely. You can text us on 20686. Include your name and your location. Our Twitter handle is at NTV Kenya, at Trevor Ombija, as well as Zeynab Ismail. We'll be able to sample some of those views after this short break.
The Twitter handle at Zeynab Ismail is at Z-E, or is it a Z?
Z-E-Y.
All right.
Maybe we are entitled, but to hell with circumstance. We are the architects of our own story. We set our own goals, and we smash them. We are not going to wait our turn. And we aren't afraid to clap for ourselves. we stand up for what is ours. For our future, for ourselves. The truth is, we are all self-made, but only the successful will admit it. You are focused on your success. So are we.
To the outer framers, the turtleneckers, the fringe growers, you don't need to hide anymore. Try Dettol Even Tone. It cleans and helps to reduce the appearance of blemishes caused by oil, dirt and germs, giving your skin a healthy feel. Dettol, be 100% sure.
His legs are huge. As for the
Santon, a fun new world of flavor. Fruity freshness in every sip.
Brookhurst, a Cambridge-registered school, welcomes parents to enroll their sons and daughters for September intake. We offer preparatory, secondary and A-level IGCSE system of education in our spacious and serene campus. We have maintained a tradition of excellent academic performance, with over 90% of our students joining universities abroad and in Kenya. Enroll your child in Brookhurst School to see their talent developed to international level. Brookhurst International School, dedicated to excellence.
Madam, mimi niko tayari kwenda.
No, in particular, are you going?
Naenda church alafu naenda kuona sister yangu.
What are you doing here at this time in the morning?
Mama Tari hakukuwa pia. Ameenda kasafari na inaka ni class, so akaniambia ukunje ukishuge.
Hizo ulikuwa wapi utasema nini?
Hizo ni uongo nafikirianga kaa uko hapo.
Where did you spend your night?
Mtoi wa sis alipata na ka emergency kadogo.
Sure, there are 2 extra rooms in this house. Just pick one that pleases you.
Kialie, ulale ile ya chini yenye haina show, ndio ukojoe kwa kitanda kama vile unafanyaga nyumbani. Antipas.
All right, welcome back to the bulletin. Now, Kotubo's Francis Atwoli has encouraged the Director of Public Prosecution, Nurdin Haji, to turn his attention to the NSSF and NHIF officers, saying that there is evidence that Kenyans' money is being looted in those institutions.
Well, Atwoli has also supported the ongoing demolitions of structures built on riparian land, adding that no building erected on a public land should be left standing. Atwoli was speaking during the Trade Union Federation of East Africa conference held at the Stanley Hotel right in Nairobi County on Monday.
Labour CS Kuriatani said the government was keen on supporting the labour movement to protect workers' rights in Kenya.
CS, if you pump in to His Excellency the President, tell him that where he is where we wanted him to be. The position he has taken is the position we wanted him to take. Yesterday when he was saying he has lost friends, I shed tears. I said, let him lose those crooked friends and he will land into very good friends.
For unions to remain relevant and further strengthen themselves, they should consider strategies like mergers and amalgamation as a matter of priority and basic survival. In addition, they should address themselves to such important matters on a day-to-day basis as we move ahead. That includes capacity building and training, so that the various members are adequately prepared, better equipped to understand their roles and effectively play their positions as required.
Let's talk about the sour sweetener now and the issue around the sugar scandal. And Wajir Women Rep Fatima Gedi has denied claims that she bribed her colleagues with 10,000 shillings to influence a no vote to throw the contraband sugar report out. She, however, admits that she was involved in serious lobbying for the report not to pass in Parliament.
Gedi, who was mentioned by Kimilili Member of Parliament Didmas Barasa as one of the key people dishing out more money to MPs, now says she will seek recourse before the Powers and Privileges Committee. She also wants an apology from Didmas Barasa.
For me as an elected leader, I have a responsibility to oppose, as I said, and also to support. But in this report, yes, I did mobilize the members, and that is my responsibility. And I have no apologies to make to do that, because we saw the two co-chairs contradict themselves in this report. We saw the members themselves contradicting themselves in the same report, that it took times, weeks. We saw that. We saw the chair and a member in a national television discussing a report before tabling the House. What we saw in that House was the same committee who was speaking in two different languages. So as a member, and also a new member of this House, who will you believe? I read the report, and what I did was good for this country and was good for the House. I actually restored the dignity of the House, but I've never, ever bribed a single member.
Now, male revelers in Murang'a County are facing an age-old problem that appears to have made its way from Nairobi to the county. There are increasing incidences of men getting dragged by women in pubs.
Interestingly, the cases were almost unheard of, but in the last few months, more than 10 people, include county and national government employees, senior policemen and bankers, have fallen victim after their drinks and food were spiked, leading to blackouts and subsequent theft.
And it doesn't happen to everyone. The ladies are said to choose their victims carefully with an aim of getting the most from them.
Most victims are mostly married men targeted by female suspects who agree to go home or to a lodging with them, then steal from them when they are unconscious.
Ukweli mimi nijisikia nimelala na kutoka hapo sikujisikia tena.
Steve, not his real name, took a spiked drink after leaving a club with a woman he had just met and struck up a conversation with. The lady told him that she had traveled from Nanyuki to visit her sister in Murang'a town, but the sister had said she was not around, prompting her to have a drink as she waited.
After nimepiga zangu mbili, kile kiwanaume na mimi nikamwona ni mzuri, nimchukulie mbili. Sasa tukakuwa ni kama tuko marafiki. Lakini wakati ilifika kitu saa 6, yeye akasema anataka kwenda nyumbani. Na akaniomba kama naweza, niko na gari naweza mdrop. Nikamwambia niko na gari.
He had fallen into her trap and it led to loss of his valuables and nearly cost him his job. It also left him in debt.
Wakati aliingia kwa gari, akakuja na Red Bull kama anakunywa. After kufungua akaniambia Red Bull inakuanga mzuri juu ukikunywa pombe iko na energy na unasikia ulevi na ishaisha. Na akaniambia mimi ni mtu anaendesha gari, nijifuzange kukunywa pombe na alafu nakunywa Red Bull. Sasa katika hali mimi nilichukua Red Bull na nikapiga zipu karibu mara 3. Yeye ni tu amesikilia, lakini kujua tu ni kwa mlevi. Sijui kama alikuwa anakunywa, kama mimi alikuwa amesikia.
He remembers nothing after the drink and was out for about 6 hours before he regained consciousness.
After kubeba simu aliandika message akasema kwa simu yangu akasema saidia mimi na 3,000. Hiyo message akatumia kila mtu kwa phone book. Mimi sasa kenye sijui venye alipata pin namba ya simu na sijui alipata mambo details zangu wapi, lakini ukweli alikuwa ameandika message inasema nituma pesa. Marafiki wangu kadhaa walituma karibu 60,000.
Humphrey Gikonyo, a medical practitioner in Murang'a town, says he has handled a few cases in the recent past, noting that the suspects use drugs called benzodiazepines that are used in the hospitals to sedate patients. He says there are at least 8 drugs under the family of benzodiazepine, categorized as dangerous drugs.
These drugs are prescription-only drugs. But nowadays, if you have money, you know the name of the drug, you can easily access it at any pharmacy or a chemist. And that makes it easy for these people to get them and poison the members of public.
He added that they target those taking alcohol, adding that the drugs are particularly dangerous when mixed with alcohol, as they combine to have a powerful anesthetic effect on the victim.
It affects on the cognitive part of the brain, and these people at that stage, they easily ask you vital questions like the ATM pin.
According to Murang'a Bar Owners Association Chair Paul Waweru, the perpetrators of the heinous acts are non-locals. He's calling for vigilance.
I would like to encourage the bar owners, the proprietors, to install CCTV cameras in their places of operation.
In Murang'a County, cases of drugging are on the increase, but most of them go undocumented as the victims do not report to the police due to stigma.
Let them come forward, report, then we make a follow-up on which bars are these that are using these drugs so that we can mark them as hotspots.
County police officers have cautioned locals to avoid taking drinks with strangers to keep safe. Reporting for NTV, I am Martin Moura.
All right, very interesting report there by Martin Moura. Trevor, what do you have to say about the mchele in Murang'a County?
I was praying that you don't ask me about this, Zeynab. Listen, let me inform the media and everybody else who's watching. I have no idea how it works, but I've heard of it a couple of times. So it's just for people to be wary when they go out and make sure they know who they're hanging out with. Have you ever been going out before yourself?
No. So I wouldn't know much, but I've heard of stories of people getting their drinks spiked.
Yeah. All right, let's take a short break in NTV Tonight. We'll be back with much more. Remember the question we asked you earlier. We'll be sampling some of your views during and at the end of this broadcast. The question was, what can be done to stop domestic violence? That and much more coming up in just a bit. Also, Dan Mwangi is making sense of all the sense in just a bit.
oil from Lokisha to Mombasa is concerned is still a matter of if. Even though the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining wants Kenyans to believe that outstanding issues have been resolved, progress is being made towards the resumption of the flow of crude oil to Mombasa. But as Alex Mongi reports, obstacles still remain.
With pressure mounting on the Ministry of Petroleum and Mining to resolve the issues that halted the trucking of crude oil from Lokichar in Turkana County to Mombasa, the Cabinet Secretary was out to allay any fears that the stalemate between the government, Talo Oil and residents is far from being resolved. In seeking to explain the genesis of the problems bedeviling the early oil pilot scheme, Munyes shifted blame to his predecessors.
We've had problems in the past. You all remember in 2014 we had similar problems. It seems we did not learn from that. There were gaps. There was a missing link. There was a problem that we did not sort out as a ministry. We needed a grievances mechanism that would bring issues on the table for discussion.
To address the grievances of stakeholders in the exploitation of the black gold, 2 committees are being set up: the Turkana Grievances Management Committee and the Interministerial Escalation and Support Committee. Both of them will be anchored in law.
We've decided as a ministry we'll have a regional office in Turkana with 6 community liaison officers to support this committee. We want frequent engagements with the contractor now.
This Wednesday we'll be going to Turkana to have a meeting with the key major stakeholders so that we see how fast we can be able to form and nominate the committees which are stated within Turkana Grievances Committee. And then we expect to give it about 10 days so that we have the committee in place.
We expect that come January or very early next year, then we'll be putting oil through the early production facility as initially envisioned and heading towards the 2,000 barrel per day mark.
The Cabinet Secretary has put the loss occasioned by the month-and-a-half-long standoff at 400 million shillings. For a project as significant as Kenya's exploration of oil in northern Kenya, Munyes had this admission to make, stemming from the reality check that has been prompted by the current standoff that saw Talo Oil halt its operations.
So we've been firefighting. Talo has been operating in Turkana with little support from the ministry.
The ministry hopes that on the 22nd of this month, the trucks will begin journeying down to the coast. Alex Mwangi, NTV.
A slippery issue that oil topic is. Now, coffee farmers affiliated to Kianderi factory in the county of Murang'a will go for a second year without their pay following a robbery on Sunday night. The 720 farmers lost 24,000 kilograms of coffee valued at 2.6 million shillings to a gang that broke in shortly after 9 p.m. That's last night. 2 years ago, the factory suffered the same fate after a gang accessed coffee stores and took away produce valued at 3.5 million shillings. Factory management was at pains to explain farmers how the gang gained access into the guarded facility and how they will be compensated for the loss. Neighbors say they saw the security lights at the factory off but did not suspect a robbery was underway. Police are investigating the matter. Still on matters of agriculture, and transporters contracted by the National Cereals and Produce Board have threatened to pull out their services if they do not receive the 1.1 billion shillings owed to them for the work already done. The transporters say they were hired to transport fertilizer and cereals to and from various depots around the country and were supposed to have been paid within 30 days. But now, months later, they are yet to receive any pay. The transporters now join the list of the thousands of farmers around the country who are also waiting for pay for maize delivered last season, even though Devolution CS Eugene Wamalwa assures them that they will be paid beginning this Friday. He, however, pointed out that the transporters matter was being handled by the Ministry of Agriculture.
Kufikia sasa,
Non-tariff barriers still remain the greatest challenge to trade across African countries, hindering the integration of the various economic blocs. The Common Market for East and Southern Africa, that's COMESA, says it has so far managed to resolve 199 of the non-tariff barriers, but still have 5 unresolved, 2 of which affect Kenya. At the moment, Kenya can't export milk and palm oil to Zambia because Zambia feels Kenyan milk is not fit for consumption. Customs experts from COMESA member states are meeting in Nairobi to find solutions to these challenges and harmonize custom regulations across the region in order to ease trade.
So now, because the bacterial load in Zambia is low, they only allow a low bacterial load. They think that countries which have a higher bacterial load, their milk is not safe. So they believe that because Kenya allows a much higher bacterial load for raw milk, that milk is not safe. Now, the science of it, or the controversy, is that it has been argued by Kenya and other experts that whatever the bacterial load, if the milk is UHT, what UHT means, it has gone through ultra high heat treatment, then all the pathogens have been killed. That process of ultra high heat treatment kills the diseases, so to speak.
Drama ensued at a market in Limuru town after unhappy traders defied an order to relocate to a modern structure that had been constructed by the county government. The traders claimed that the government failed to honor its promise to construct a market big enough to accommodate them all and are now forced to squeeze into a small space.
The construction of a modern market is usually celebrated by traders because it means a formal place to work. But for these traders in Limuru, this market has given them no reason to celebrate.
Hii soko tumefunguliwa, haina choo, kitu ya kwanza. Soko haijamalizika, ndio watu wote watoshe. Sasa tutafanyaje?
According to the traders, the new market has not been designed in a way that it also accommodates the physically challenged.
Nilikuwa nimepewa pale kwa toilet ile haiko. Pale pahali ya walemavu. Sasa nimeondolewa, sina pahali ya kuenda. Mimi nimezeeka. Hawa watoto mimi ndio nawaangalia.
Over 1,000 traders working in Limuru town have not only accused the county government of failing to construct a bigger market to accommodate all of them, but also vowed not to heed to the orders to relocate to the modern structure until the county government addresses their concerns. Achieng Wimbley, NTV.
The Kenya Pipeline Company, that's KPC, has completed the repair of the line that caused spillage in Kibos in the county of Kisumu. The leaking line along the Nakuru pipeline that saw Kisumu residents siphon fuel is suspected to have been vandalized by rogue traders. However, no arrests have been made yet. According to KPC, the incident has not affected their fuel stock. Business and I are done. I'm just the Mwangi end of it. Good night.
County is a common economic activity in the area, and each is keen on ensuring that they catch the best and supply the best.
Well, although it may seem normal that fish are caught using fishing nets, what is rarely spoken of is the hands that make those same nets. On NTV's My Job feature tonight, Mel Miendo takes us through the day-to-day affairs of a fish net maker.
It is a beehive of activities at Ndeda Beach in Siaya County. One man sits behind a makeshift structure, seemingly oblivious of his surrounding. His hands move in perfect pattern, his eyes focused on the wave of wool he is working on. His name is Joseph Onyango, and he is one of the famous fishnet makers in Siaya County.
I have been doing this job for the past 20 years. My father's friend was a great fishnet maker and is the one who taught me how to make these nets. When I started, I just wanted something to do that would give me money to buy the things that I wanted. Then I saw how many people came to my teacher to get nets, and I realized this work is important. I wanted to be like him, the most sought after fishnet maker.
For this kind of trade, Joseph just needs a special type of wool, which he tells makes the fishnet strong and durable. The needle he uses is made of wood, specially designed to make the work easier and safer. For net repairing, Joseph charges between 600 and 1,000 Kenya shillings, and for new net, he charges from 4,000 to 10,000 Kenya shillings, depending on the length.
My nets are very strong compared to the ones made in factories. Some people think that just the factory nets are better than these ones we make here. But those ones last for only 3 months and get torn. But mine can stay for even a year, and it is cheaper. That is why most fishermen prefer my net. I am very proud of my work. I earn my living through the work of my own hands. You can never say money is enough, because the more you earn, the more your budget increases. But I am glad that I am able to provide basic need for my family and take my children to school. Through the work of my hands, people all over the world are able to get fish on their tables. And this makes me happy and proud.
It takes Joseph 5 to 2 weeks to complete one net, and for repair it can take a day or 2. Depending on peak fishing season, he can make at least 10 new nets and do up to 50 repairs. The number goes down when fish is out of season. He has to save up for such seasons.
I teach this skill to anyone who is interested, and I teach it for free, because I was also taught for free. Young people don't like hard work, and especially handiwork. I would encourage the young people to get education as well as learn such skills. If they fail to get a job, they will still have a source of livelihood.
Mel Miendo, NTV.
Taking a short break in NTV Tonight, Brian Otwal is coming up with the latest in the sporting world. But I was asking Zeynab what she calls fish in her language. We call it reg.
Reg?
Yes.
Maybe before I answer you, I should just say angoa.
Angoa means what's that? Reg is
yes.
the fish.
Brian
right. Otwal is coming up next with sports. See you in a bit.
Welcome to the most lit show in the 254.
I go by the OG, the King, Mr. Calligraph Jones. The Night Boy Worldwide. This is your favorite DJ Stretch.
What do you do, Africa? They call me the creme de la creme, super DJ, super producer.
Hey yo, ni boy wako hapa VPI double.
wins from their remaining 9 games to defend their Kenyan Premier League title after a routine 3-1 win over Kakamega Homeboys at the Moi Stadium in Kisumu. Goals by Innocent Wafula, Francis Mustafa and Kevin Omondi still the 19th win of the season for Gor. The loss extended Homeboys' winless run to 5 matches and they now lie in position 10 with 33 points. Next up, Gor faced Chemelil Sugar in the KPL at Afra Stadium on Thursday before hosting Rwanda's Rayon Sport on Sunday in a CAF Confederation Cup match, needing just a point to sail into the lucrative group stage.
No, please, the character's great. We're tired. I mean, we've got an horrendous programme and it needs to be looked at because our players can't keep doing this. We've got an important game coming up Thursday, Chemelil, and then we've got a game against Rayon. Then we've got Sofapaka, then we've got the Mashi-Meji derby, then we've got Algiers. The KPL have got to do something about this. It's not fair. It's not right. We can't keep flogging a dead horse the way we're doing. My players have got character and I'm proud of them for digging in deep and trying the best.
And the Kenya Open Golf Championship, Kenya's premier golf tournament, has attained European Tour status starting next year, and with it double the prize kitty. This is East Africa defending girls volleyball champions Kwantanze and Cap Kenyoloi recorded wins on the second day of the Brookside East Africa Secondary School Games in Musanze, Rwanda. Having attained European Tour status, the 2019 Kenya Open, which will be held at the Karen Country Club, is expected to draw interest of top golf talent from across the globe. The Kenya Open will also boast of 126 million shillings prize kitty, double the total prize money from the 2018 tournament, which marks the championship's 50th anniversary.
You're going to take this to different clubs, and prior to every safari tour event you will have a clinic that will involve schools and the local community in a clinic. It gives us hope that actually it is beginning to grow.
So in this regard, we are starting a safari tour this year, starting in fact this month. The first event will be in Nyari.
In the ongoing East Africa Secondary School Games in Rwanda, Kwantanze beat St. Alois of Rwanda 3-2 as Cheptil saw off Soweto 3-1 in the girls' volleyball. Malava beat Karubanda from Rwanda 3-2 as Cap Kenyoloi beat Uganda's Wagwa in straight sets in their debut match in boys' volleyball. This as 2016 champions Kayatiwi secured a 54-39 win over home side Laisidi Kigali, and Upper Hill recorded a hard-fought 13-12 win over compatriots Kakamega High School in 15th rugby.
Public Service Board.
Over 5,000 fans stand up in Kisii County as the 6th edition of the Kenya Inter-County Sports and Cultural Association Kikoska Games kicked off at the new Gusii Stadium. In a peak of the results, Monday, Kajiado drew 1-1 with Embu County, and Nairobi beat Laikipia 2-0 in football. Women tug of war defending champions Nairobi County defeated Kisii, as Uasin Gishu County topped in mixed relays. And a CAF club licensing workshop is ongoing in Nairobi that seeks to empower member associations on club licensing at their parent federations, as well as provide roadmaps for engagement of clubs in CAF competitions.
This is a description that I really like.
We are very committed in club licensing. We would like every club to comply. And club football for us, we decided, is what we're going to use to make Kenya a World Cup nation. We have a 15-16-year plan to do that. Because if we don't do that, then it's a problem. Kenya is a nation of 46, 47 million people that went to the Cup of Nations last in 2004.
Elsewhere, day 2 of the Africa Youth Chess Championship in Kisumu saw Kenyan teams face stiff competition from Egyptian, South African and Algerian teams. Woman feed master Nasir Rania and candidate master Tamar Ahmed posted impressive results. And World 5,000 meters champion Hellen Obiri, who aced the races at the African Championships, is eyeing a world record in next year's World Championships in Qatar. Obiri also believes the challenges endured in Nigeria motivated Team Kenya to be successful at the 21st edition of the Africa Athletics Championships in Asaba.
Fresh from winning gold at the Africa Championships, World 5,000 meters champion Hellen Obiri, who also won gold at the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast, Australia, foresees the world record to be hers to break next year's World Championships in Qatar.
Na so far nimepiki kama season inaenda kuisha, lakini I'm going to try my best next year.
Her exploits in Asaba, Nigeria granted her a ticket to the Continental Cup next month, and the Kenya Defence Forces star believes she can continue her winning streak this year.
Naenda Birmingham, Diamond League 3K. From there naenda final Diamond League Zurich. From there of which I'm preparing for a big championship now, Continental Cup on September.
The Continental Championship saw Kenya endure logistical challenges but still come out tops with 19 medals including 11 gold.
I think morale tulikuwa tunapata ni ile, unajua mtu ukipitia shida huwa tunasema shida italipa. So si hatukuwa na shida sana sababu tulifika huko tukasema kama tumepitia hii shida yote, we have to do something.
Doping has blighted Kenya's athletics success and Obiri has no doubt as to where the buck stops.
I won't blame the managers, I blame the athletes sababu athlete mwenyewe ndio anajua ile kitu anaweka kwa mwili yake na ile kitu nasa nikasema kila mtu apepa mzigo yake.
Next up, Obiri will fly Kenya's flag at the Birmingham leg of the Diamond League on Saturday. Joshua Makori, NTV Sport.
And the national under-17 football team, the Junior Stars, has to put behind the ill-cheating drama when it takes on South Sudan tomorrow in the ongoing Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations Sekafa region qualifiers. 3 players, Maxwell Mulili, Leslie Otieno and Abdul Malik Hussein, were deemed overage after they failed MRI tests administered by CAF. Coached by Michael Omwenga and captained by Arnold Onyango, the Junior Stars have their work cut out against South Sudan, who defeated Djibouti 2-1 in their opening match. In Monday's game at the Chamazi Stadium, Rwanda secured its second win at the tournament with a 4-3 victory over Burundi. The winner of the tournament qualified for the 2019 Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations in Tanzania. To some moment of the weekend, the national 15s rugby team resumes training Tuesday morning ahead of the do-or-die Africa Gold Cup match against Namibia on Saturday in Windhoek, where the winner bags a ticket to the 2019 Rugby World Cup. This past weekend, Kenya Simbas scored 11 tries to thrash Tunisia 67-0. Captain Davis Chenge's try created by scrum half Samson Onsomu is our moment of the weekend. On that dodgy note by our 15th rugby team, we end our sports. Have a lovely night. My name is Brian Otwal.
Man.
Day tonight on the rising cases of domestic violence. We ask you, what do you think is the solution? And of course, we have Trevor Ombija just sampling some of those views on our social media platforms. Trevor?
Absolutely, we have a lot going on here and there's a lot coming from Kenyans. Harry says it's unfortunate that there are still cases of domestic violence. What can be done is augment the existing legislation to have perpetrators face stiffer penalties, and there may be a helpline to enable the affected report such cases and be assisted accordingly. We still have more here. Dr. Timothy Wale says the only solution is communication. Tough laws and sentences can be put in place, but if the victims doesn't speak out, then everything adds up to nothing. And we have a last one here from Wanjiku Mugane, who says, I think and believe in the power of walking out and go. Before someone beats you, there are always signs. It starts with a slap, then a slap and a kick, and then a thorough beating. The government will jail the culprit. But what of the injured, the emotional and the physical scars? That's what's coming through our social media. And still Zeynab has more from our Twitter. Text free, you can text for free actually, 20686, and they still have a few of them sampled there.
Yeah, definitely, Trevor. We have here Osewe Shadrach from, and they were saying, truly, man, instead of beating women like that, I think you should just divorce them. In fact, that man should not be allowed to be alive. Quite strong sentiments there. We have Sharon from Mathare saying those abusing women should be jailed for life. And we also have here Humphrey from Nairobi saying the only way to stop domestic violence is for partners to respect, understand, cherish, love, believe in God, and of course support one another.
And
Trevor.
before we call it a night, Zeynab and I have to bring to your attention a story that's coming through to our newsroom here. A boy aged approximately 7 years old was this evening hit by an Embakasi-bound train, leading to serious injuries and admission to hospital. Now, the accident happened at around 6:15 p.m. just before the train got to Makadara. It was forced to stop and take the boy on board. Fellow passengers disembarked with the boy at Makadara and took him to the Metropolitan Hospital, where he is admitted in critical condition. The boy's identity remains unknown, and if you or a neighbor you may know him does not know of the whereabouts of their 7-year-old boy, you can call Crispus Abuga on 0734 800 180. I want to run that number by you again. You can call Crispus Abuga in the event that your neighbor or the family is missing a 7-year-old boy. There's an accident that has happened. The train has just run over him. He's in critical condition. He's been admitted. But we have a line you could call in case you're looking for a 7-year-old boy. The number is 0734 800 180. We certainly wish him a quick recovery.
Of course, and we hope that the parents or relatives could be able to get this information and help that young boy.
Absolutely. And on that sad note, we call it a night. My name is Trevor Ombija. Always a pleasure having you with us. Mark Masai is coming up next with Press Pass. He's talking about the ongoing demolitions and whether there's more to report on that matter. Have we done enough? Do you know why it's happening? Have we covered it enough as journalists?
And of course, my name is Zeynab Ismail. Thank you so much for being part of this bulletin. Have a lovely night and God bless.
NTV, turning on your world.